Have you ever wondered what would happen if one of the richest men in the country suddenly gave up his name, his fortune, and his identity, all for the sake of finding the one thing money could never buy? Adrian Blackstone had built an empire that stretched across continents. His wealth could purchase private islands, luxury yachts, and the finest things life had to offer. Yet behind the glamorous headlines and billion-dollar success was a lonely man who had grown tired of attracting women who loved his fortune more than they loved him. After years of betrayal and heartbreak, Adrian made a shocking decision that no billionaire had ever dared to make. Overnight, he vanished from the public eye and returned disguised as an imbecile. What followed exposed the true hearts of 4 women and proved that genuine love can never be bought with money. Before we continue, welcome to Cognora, where every story uncovers the hidden truths of human nature and every ending leaves a lesson worth remembering. If you enjoy powerful, emotional stories like this one, please take a moment to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our next story. Your support helps us bring you more unforgettable stories every week. And before we dive deeper, tell us in the comments where you're watching from. We'd love to know which part of the world you're joining us from. Now let's begin today's incredible story. For more than a decade, Adrian Blackstone had stood at the very top of the business world. As the founder and chief executive officer of Blackstone Dominion Group, he had transformed a small investment company into one of the most powerful business empires in the country. His success story inspired millions. Financial magazines called him the youngest billionaire visionary of his generation, while television stations competed for exclusive interviews with the man whose decisions could change entire industries overnight. Wherever Adrian went, cameras followed. Every handshake made headlines, every speech attracted standing ovations, and every appearance became the talk of the nation. To the outside world, he was living the perfect life. Behind the expensive suits, luxury cars, and billion-dollar boardroom deals, however, Adrian carried a burden no one could see. The higher he climbed, the lonelier his life became. Invitations to lavish parties filled his calendar, yet every conversation seemed to revolve around his money, his influence, or the opportunities people hoped to gain through him. Genuine friendships became rare, and meaningful relationships felt almost impossible. The mansion he returned to each night was breathtakingly beautiful, but its silence reminded him that wealth could purchase comfort without ever guaranteeing happiness. Over the years, Adrian had opened his heart more than once, believing he had finally found someone who loved him for who he truly was. Every relationship began with laughter, hope, and dreams of a shared future. Yet each one ended the same way. Some women became obsessed with the luxurious lifestyle that surrounded him, while others quietly treated him as a stepping stone to fame, influence, or financial security. The painful truth revealed itself whenever business challenges arose or whenever he deliberately stepped away from the spotlight. The affection disappeared as quickly as it had arrived, leaving Adrian questioning whether genuine love still existed in a world where money seemed to speak louder than character. One quiet evening, after another highly publicized charity gala, Adrian sat alone in the library of his mansion. The applause from the event still echoed in his mind, but it brought him no comfort. His eyes wandered across shelves filled with awards, photographs, and trophies collected over years of extraordinary success. They represented victories that countless people admired, yet none of them could fill the emptiness he felt inside. For the first time in many years, Adrian admitted something he had never confessed to another soul. He was tired. Not tired of building businesses or creating opportunities, but tired of wondering whether anyone would ever choose him if his fortune disappeared tomorrow. As rain tapped gently against the tall windows, Adrian closed his eyes and remembered the advice his late grandfather had often repeated during his childhood. The greatest treasure in life is not the fortune you build, but the hearts that remain beside you when the fortune means nothing. At the time, those words had sounded simple. Now they carried a meaning deeper than ever before. Adrian realized that if he continued living as one of the country's most recognizable billionaires, he might never know whether true love was even possible. That night marked the beginning of a decision that would change his life forever. Before dawn broke the following morning, Adrian made up his mind. He would disappear from the public eye, abandon the identity the world admired, and place his heart through the greatest test it had ever faced. He had no idea that the journey ahead would expose greed, compassion, deception, and sacrifice in ways he had never imagined. More importantly, it would lead him to 4 women whose choices would prove that appearances can deceive, but character never lies. The following morning, Adrian arrived at Blackstone Dominion Group earlier than usual. The towering glass headquarters buzzed with its usual energy as executives hurried into boardrooms, assistants organized meetings, and investors prepared for another day of billion-dollar negotiations. To everyone around him, it seemed like another ordinary business day. No one noticed that Adrian quietly observed every face that greeted him, wondering how many of those smiles would remain if they believed he had lost everything. By noon, he summoned the only person in the world he trusted with both his fortune and his life. Victor Hale, his longtime lawyer and closest friend, entered Adrian's office carrying a folder of legal documents, expecting another business discussion. Instead, he found Adrian standing silently beside the floor-to-ceiling window, staring at the city skyline. The expression on Adrian's face immediately told Victor that this conversation would be unlike any they had ever shared. Without turning around, Adrian finally spoke. He admitted that he had spent years searching for genuine love, only to discover that every relationship ended the moment people stopped seeing him as a billionaire. He confessed that he no longer trusted compliments, affection, or promises because they always seemed tied to his wealth. Victor listened carefully, but nothing could have prepared him for Adrian's next decision. Adrian revealed that he intended to disappear completely from public life. He wanted the media to believe he had traveled overseas on an extended business expansion, while his executive team quietly managed the company in his absence. During that time, he would abandon his identity and live among ordinary people, as a man everyone believed was mentally challenged. Victor was stunned. He warned Adrian that the plan was dangerous, unpredictable, and could easily destroy the reputation he had spent years building. But Adrian remained calm. For the first time in years, he felt certain that this was the only way to discover who would value him as a human being rather than as a billionaire. The next few days were filled with careful preparation. Adrian signed confidential documents authorizing Victor to oversee every aspect of Blackstone Dominion Group during his absence. Only a handful of trusted executives were informed that Adrian would be unreachable for personal reasons, but none of them knew where he was going or what he intended to do. To the outside world, the announcement was simple. Adrian Blackstone had left the country to oversee a confidential international project that could take several months to complete. For the next 7 days, Adrian remained completely out of sight. Under Victor's careful guidance, he practiced every detail of his new identity. He learned to walk with hesitant, uneven steps, respond slowly to simple questions, and conceal the confidence that had made him one of the country's most respected businessmen. Professional makeup artists subtly altered his appearance, while a behavioral specialist helped him master the mannerisms of a man the world would quickly dismiss as an imbecile. Every movement, every facial expression, and every reaction was rehearsed repeatedly until they felt completely natural. By the end of the week, even Victor found it difficult to recognize the brilliant billionaire standing before him. Once the training was complete, Adrian replaced his expensive tailored suits with faded clothes that looked as though they had survived years of hardship. His polished leather shoes gave way to worn-out sandals. His neatly styled hair became untidy, while thick glasses and subtle makeup completed the transformation. Looking into the mirror, the confident billionaire had disappeared. In his place stood a lonely, harmless man whom strangers would ignore, ridicule, or pity without ever suspecting the truth. As Adrian picked up a small cloth bag containing only the bare essentials, he took one last look at the luxurious life he was leaving behind. He had no idea where this extraordinary journey would end, but one thing was certain. Before it was over, 4 women would enter his life, and only one of them would prove that true love is measured by the heart and not by the size of a person's fortune. With nothing but a small cloth bag hanging from his shoulder, Adrian Blackstone walked away from the luxurious world he had always known and stepped into a life where nobody recognized his face. For the first time in years, he was no longer surrounded by bodyguards, photographers, or business associates eager to impress him. The city that once celebrated his every achievement now treated him as though he did not exist. Some people ignored him completely, while others stared with pity or amusement. Adrian quickly realized that people often judged a person's worth long before they knew anything about their character. For several days, Adrian wandered through different parts of the city, quietly observing the people around him. He visited public parks, busy streets, neighborhood cafes, and crowded marketplaces. Some people avoided him as if he were a danger, while others whispered behind his back. Adrian never became angry. Instead, he carefully watched every reaction, reminding himself that this journey was never about proving who he was. It was about discovering who everyone else truly was. Late one afternoon, Adrian arrived at Riverside Central Park, a peaceful place where families gathered to relax after work. Sitting quietly beneath a large oak tree, he watched children play while musicians entertained visitors nearby. For the first time since abandoning his luxurious life, Adrian felt a sense of freedom. No one admired him because of his wealth. No one approached him because of his influence. He was simply another face in the crowd. A sleek black luxury vehicle suddenly stopped near the park entrance. Stepping out was Bianca Hayes, one of the country's most popular lifestyle influencers. Dressed in expensive designer clothing and surrounded by photographers, Bianca had come to film promotional content for one of her luxury brand partners. Every smile she offered seemed perfectly rehearsed, and every movement was carefully planned for social media. As Bianca prepared for filming, she noticed Adrian sitting quietly in the background. Her cheerful expression disappeared almost instantly. She whispered to her production team, explaining that the poorly dressed stranger would ruin the elegant image they were trying to create. Rather than asking whether he needed help or simply changing the camera angle, Bianca instructed one of her assistants to politely move him away from the area before filming began. Adrian quietly stood up without arguing. He picked up his small cloth bag and slowly walked away, pretending not to notice the cameras that immediately began recording once he was gone. As he disappeared along the park pathway, Bianca smiled confidently and continued filming as though nothing had happened. To millions of viewers watching online, she appeared graceful, compassionate, and inspiring. Only Adrian had witnessed the person she became when the cameras were focused on protecting her perfect image instead of another human being. Walking beneath the fading evening sky, Adrian realized his extraordinary experiment had finally begun. The following morning, Adrian continued his journey through the city with quiet determination. Every encounter reminded him that appearances often shape people's opinions long before character had a chance to reveal itself. Although the rejection he experienced was painful, it also confirmed that his unusual experiment was uncovering truths he would never have discovered as one of the country's most admired billionaires. By midday, Adrian found himself in Maple Square, a busy district filled with corporate offices, luxury boutiques, and elegant cafes. Business professionals hurried through the sidewalks carrying laptops and briefcases, while expensive vehicles lined the streets. Adrian's worn clothes and awkward movements immediately attracted curious glances, but he continued walking peacefully without paying attention to the whispers surrounding him. At the same time, Naomi Carter had just concluded an important business meeting. As one of the youngest senior executives in her company, Naomi had earned a reputation for being disciplined, ambitious, and exceptionally efficient. She believed success belonged only to those who worked hard enough to deserve it. Unfortunately, years of climbing the corporate ladder had also convinced her that a person's value could often be measured by their appearance, education, and professional achievements. While reviewing important documents on her tablet, Naomi accidentally dropped a folder onto the sidewalk. Papers scattered in every direction. Adrian immediately bent down and carefully gathered each page, hoping to help. His slow and unusual movements made it obvious that people believed he was mentally challenged. Instead of appreciating his kindness, Naomi quickly took the papers from his hands. She assumed he would only damage the documents or make the situation worse. Without offering even a simple word of thanks, she hurried away to continue her busy schedule, convinced that efficiency mattered more than gratitude. Adrian remained standing quietly on the sidewalk. He was not hurt because Naomi refused his help. He was saddened because she had judged his ability before giving him the chance to prove himself. During his years as a billionaire, strangers had praised even his smallest actions. Now, hidden beneath a simple disguise, his kindness had become invisible. As the sun began to set, Adrian sat outside a neighborhood bakery, reflecting on everything he had experienced. For the first time, he wondered whether genuine compassion still existed in a world where so many people measured others by status instead of humanity. Little did he know, someone inside the bakery had been quietly watching him from the window. The woman standing inside the bakery was Elena Brooks, a 29-year-old elementary school teacher whose kindness had never depended on a person's appearance, wealth, or social status. Every afternoon after school, she stopped at the neighborhood bakery before walking home. As she watched Adrian sitting alone outside, she noticed something that everyone else had failed to see. Behind his worn clothes and unusual behavior was a gentle man carrying quiet sadness in his eyes. Instead of judging him from a distance, Elena purchased a loaf of fresh bread and a warm cup of tea before walking outside. She approached Adrian slowly, making sure she would not make him uncomfortable. Without asking unnecessary questions or expecting anything in return, she placed the food beside him with a gentle smile and quietly sat on a nearby bench, allowing him the dignity of choosing whether to accept her kindness. Adrian looked at the bread for several moments before slowly picking it up. It had been days since anyone had shown him genuine compassion without expecting recognition or reward. As he ate, Elena simply enjoyed the peaceful afternoon, never staring at him, never making him feel different, and never treating him as though he were less important than anyone else. After a few quiet moments, Elena stood to leave. Before walking away, she gently placed a small folded note beside Adrian. Written in neat handwriting were words that would remain in his heart forever. Sometimes the kindest thing we can do is remind someone that they are not invisible. Adrian carefully unfolded the note several times after she disappeared into the crowd. During his years as one of the richest men in the country, he had received priceless gifts, expensive watches, luxury cars, and countless awards. Yet none of them touched his heart the way those simple words did. For the first time since beginning his extraordinary journey, Adrian felt hope. Perhaps true kindness had not disappeared after all. Perhaps hidden among millions of people, there was still someone capable of seeing a human heart before seeing wealth, appearance, or status. As he carefully folded the note and placed it inside his cloth bag, Adrian smiled quietly. Unknown to both of them, this was only the beginning of a journey that would change their lives forever. The days that followed became the greatest lesson Adrian Blackstone had ever experienced. Every morning, he left the modest apartment Victor had secretly rented for him and wandered through different parts of the city. He never begged for attention or searched for sympathy. Instead, he observed how people treated someone they believed had nothing to offer. Every insult, every cold stare, and every unexpected act of kindness became another page in the story he was writing with his own life. One peaceful Saturday afternoon, Adrian returned to Riverside Central Park. Families filled the walking paths while children laughed as they chased pigeons across the open lawn. Sitting beneath the old oak tree, Adrian carefully unfolded the note Elena had given him a few days earlier. He smiled as he read the simple words once again. Sometimes the kindest thing we can do is remind someone that they are not invisible. Those words had become more valuable to him than every award hanging inside his mansion. Without warning, a loud cry shattered the peaceful atmosphere. An elderly man suddenly collapsed near the fountain, causing panic among the visitors. Some people rushed toward him but stopped, unsure of what to do. Others pulled out their phones and began recording. Adrian reacted instantly. Forgetting about his disguise, he rushed to the man's side, gently lifting his head and speaking calmly to keep him conscious while waiting for help. Only moments later, Elena arrived after leaving a nearby bookstore. The instant she recognized Adrian, she hurried over without hesitation. Together, they comforted the frightened man until the ambulance arrived. Elena checked his breathing while Adrian shielded him from the growing crowd, speaking gently to reassure him that everything would be all right. After the ambulance drove away, the crowd slowly disappeared. Several bystanders praised Elena for her compassion, yet hardly anyone acknowledged Adrian. Most assumed he had simply wandered into the situation by accident. Adrian quietly accepted their misunderstanding. As Elena prepared to leave, she noticed Adrian's hands trembling from the emotional experience. Without saying a word, she removed a clean handkerchief from her bag and gently placed it into his hands. Her warm smile carried more compassion than words ever could. Adrian looked at the small piece of cloth with tears quietly forming in his eyes. No one had shown him such simple, sincere kindness in years. As Elena walked away, she turned back one last time. Adrian carefully folded the handkerchief and placed it inside his cloth bag, as though it were something priceless. Watching him treasure such a simple gift touched Elena's heart. She quietly smiled, unaware that the gentle stranger she had come to admire was carrying a secret that would soon change both of their lives forever. For the first time since beginning his extraordinary journey, Adrian felt his lonely heart beginning to heal. Across the city, preparations were underway for Blackstone Dominion Group's annual charity gala, one of the country's most prestigious fundraising events. Celebrities, politicians, business leaders, and social media personalities eagerly accepted their invitations. Although the public believed Adrian Blackstone was overseas negotiating international business deals, Victor Hale continued overseeing every detail exactly as Adrian had instructed before disappearing. Among the honored guests was Sabrina Collins, a nationally celebrated charity ambassador admired for her humanitarian campaigns. Newspapers praised her generosity, television stations called her the face of compassion, and millions of followers admired the emotional videos she regularly shared online. To the world, Sabrina seemed like the perfect example of kindness. A few days before the gala, Sabrina visited a struggling neighborhood to film another charitable campaign. Adrian happened to be passing through and quietly observed from across the street. Cameras surrounded Sabrina as she distributed food parcels, hugged elderly residents, and comforted struggling families. Every smile appeared heartfelt. Every emotional moment was carefully captured from multiple angles. After nearly an hour of filming, the director finally announced that they had everything they needed. The cameras stopped rolling. Almost immediately, Sabrina's warm smile disappeared. She instructed her assistants to pack the remaining food because the campaign had ended. Several families who had been patiently waiting were politely turned away. Just then, a little girl, no older than 7, walked timidly toward Sabrina, holding the hand of her younger brother. She softly asked if they could also have something to eat. One of Sabrina's assistants glanced toward the camera crew before quietly saying, "The cameras are off." Without even looking at the children, Sabrina stepped into her luxury vehicle and drove away. Adrian stood silently, watching the disappointed children lower their heads. He slowly reached into a small cloth bag and removed the only meal he had planned to eat that afternoon. Kneeling before the children, he handed it to them with a gentle smile. Their faces immediately lit up with gratitude as they happily shared the simple meal together. From a short distance away, Elena happened to witness the quiet act of generosity. She smiled softly to herself. The world may have misunderstood the gentle stranger, but she was becoming more convinced each day that he possessed one of the kindest hearts she had ever encountered. As the children thanked Adrian with joyful smiles, he quietly walked away before anyone could praise him. At that moment, Elena realized something she would never forget. The greatest acts of kindness are often performed by those who expect nothing in return. That evening, Adrian returned to his apartment carrying thoughts heavier than the cloth bag resting on his shoulder. Sitting beside the window, he carefully reflected on every woman who had entered his life since the experiment began. Bianca had protected her public image before protecting another human being. Naomi had measured people according to status and success. Sabrina had turned compassion into a performance for cameras and public applause. Only Elena had shown kindness without asking for recognition, reward, or even an explanation. For the first time in many years, Adrian felt as though he had finally begun to understand the difference between admiration and genuine love. Meanwhile, preparations for Blackstone Dominion Group's charity gala reached their final stage. Bianca Hayes eagerly planned the perfect outfit that would attract media attention. Naomi Carter saw the event as an opportunity to build valuable business connections. Sabrina Collins anticipated another evening filled with interviews and public praise for her charitable work. None of them realized that the man they had judged during the previous weeks was the very billionaire whose invitation they proudly carried in their handbags. Inside Blackstone Dominion Group headquarters, Victor Hale quietly finalized every arrangement exactly as Adrian had requested months earlier. The stage was ready. Security had received confidential instructions. A special presentation remained hidden from every guest except Victor himself. Everything depended upon perfect timing. Late that night, Adrian stood before the small mirror inside his apartment. Slowly, he unfolded Elena's handwritten note one more time. Sometimes the kindest thing we can do is remind someone that they are not invisible. Carefully folding the note, Adrian slipped it back into his cloth bag as though it were the most valuable possession he owned. For the first time in many years, he no longer feared discovering the truth. Whatever happened next, his extraordinary journey had already restored something that wealth had never been able to buy: hope. A gentle smile crossed his face. In less than 24 hours, the entire country would witness a revelation that no one saw coming. 3 women would lose the image they had spent years carefully building. 1 woman would gain something far more valuable than wealth. And Adrian Blackstone would finally discover whether true love had been standing beside him all along. The night of Blackstone Dominion Group's annual charity gala finally arrived. The city's most influential figures stepped onto the grand red carpet beneath dazzling lights, while photographers captured every elegant entrance. Television reporters interviewed celebrities, politicians, and business leaders, all eagerly anticipating the evening's biggest surprise. Rumors had spread that the company's mysterious CEO, Adrian Blackstone, might finally return after months abroad, but no one knew if the whispers were true. Inside the magnificent ballroom, Bianca Hayes confidently greeted reporters, making sure every camera captured her flawless appearance. Naomi Carter moved gracefully from one executive to another, exchanging business cards and building valuable connections that she believed would elevate her career. Sabrina Collins stood near the stage, smiling warmly, as journalists praised her charitable work. Each woman believed this evening would bring even greater recognition and success. Only Elena Brooks felt different. She attended the gala as the representative of her local elementary school, which had been nominated to receive a generous educational grant from Blackstone Dominion Group. Unlike the others, Elena showed little interest in the glamorous decorations or the influential guests surrounding her. She simply hoped the children at her school would receive the support they desperately needed. As the lights dimmed, Victor Hale stepped onto the stage. The ballroom immediately fell silent. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us for another year of giving, compassion, and hope. Polite applause filled the room. Victor continued. Tonight is especially meaningful because our founder and CEO has returned from his extended absence. Before he joins us, there is something he wishes every guest to see. The giant screens surrounding the ballroom suddenly came to life. One after another, short video clips appeared. Guests watched Bianca ordering security to remove a harmless stranger from her photo shoot. The next clip showed Naomi dismissing the same man after he tried to help gather her scattered documents. Then came Sabrina's campaign. Everyone watched as she smiled for cameras while distributing food. Moments later, after filming ended, they saw her leave hungry children behind. Finally, the last clip appeared. It showed Elena quietly buying bread and tea for the same stranger, comforting him after the elderly man collapsed, offering him her handkerchief, and smiling as he shared his only meal with two hungry children. The ballroom fell into complete silence. Guests looked at one another, trying to understand why the same mysterious stranger appeared in every video. Bianca's hands began to tremble. Naomi felt her heart pounding. Sabrina forced a smile, desperately hoping no one had noticed her discomfort. Without another word, the grand ballroom doors slowly opened. Every head turned. Adrian Blackstone walked into the ballroom wearing a perfectly tailored black tuxedo. The torn clothes, worn sandals, and untidy appearance were gone. His calm confidence and commanding presence instantly filled the room. Gasps echoed throughout the ballroom. Bianca's face turned pale. Naomi could barely breathe. Sabrina lowered her eyes in shame. Elena stood frozen in complete disbelief. Adrian slowly walked onto the stage and looked across the silent audience. For months, I searched for something money could never buy. I discovered that wealth attracts admiration, but character reveals genuine love. Every person in this room had an opportunity to show kindness to someone they believed had nothing to offer. Some protected their image, some valued status, some performed kindness only when others were watching. But one person reminded me that true compassion asks for nothing in return. His eyes gently found Elena. She felt tears gathering in her eyes as she finally realized who the gentle stranger truly was. The audience rose to its feet in thunderous applause, not because Adrian was a billionaire, but because he had reminded them that a person's greatest value is found in the heart, never in appearance. Silence remained throughout the ballroom long after the applause faded. Every guest understood they had witnessed something far greater than a business event. They had witnessed a lesson about humanity. Adrian stepped down from the stage and approached Bianca Hayes. You feared that my appearance would damage your reputation. Tonight, I hope you understand that nothing damages a reputation more than forgetting another person's dignity. Bianca lowered her head, overcome with shame. He turned toward Naomi Carter. You measured people by success and social status, but character cannot be measured by titles, expensive clothing, or powerful connections. Naomi wiped tears from her eyes, realizing how quickly she had judged someone she never truly knew. Finally, Adrian faced Sabrina Collins. The cameras captured your generosity. My experiment revealed your heart. True compassion continues long after the camera stopped recording. Unable to speak, Sabrina quietly removed the charity award pinned to her dress. Then Adrian slowly walked toward Elena. The ballroom became completely silent once again. Elena looked into Adrian's eyes with tears streaming down her face. Softly, she said, I don't know how to see you as a billionaire, To me, you'll always be the gentle man who shared his only meal with hungry children. That is the man I came to respect. A warm smile appeared on Adrian's face. He carefully reached into his pocket and unfolded the handwritten note Elena had once given him. Sometimes the kindest thing we can do is remind someone that they are not invisible. I carried these words with me every single day. The entire ballroom watched in silence. My greatest discovery was never finding the right woman, Adrian continued. It was discovering that genuine love still exists in a world that often judges too quickly. He gently extended his hand toward Elena. She smiled through her tears and accepted it. The audience erupted into heartfelt applause as Adrian announced the creation of the Elena Brooks Foundation, dedicated to providing scholarships, food assistance, and educational opportunities for underprivileged children. Elena accepted the honor with humility, insisting that every child deserved the same kindness she had once shown a stranger. Months later, the foundation had transformed thousands of lives. Bianca quietly devoted herself to genuine community service. Naomi became a mentor to disadvantaged young professionals, treating everyone with equal respect. Sabrina rebuilt her charitable work away from cameras and public attention, finally understanding that true compassion needs no audience. As for Adrian and Elena, their friendship gradually blossomed into a love built on trust, kindness, and mutual respect. It was never founded on wealth or appearances, but on seeing the goodness in another person's heart. Before we end today's story, remember this. Never judge someone by their appearance, because the greatest treasures are often hidden where the world refuses to look. The kindness you show to a stranger today may become the greatest blessing in your own life tomorrow. Thank you for watching. If this story touched your heart, please like this video, subscribe to Cognora, turn on the notification bell so you never miss another inspiring story. Share this video with your family and friends, and let us know in the comments where you're watching from. Until next time, remember that kindness costs nothing, but it can change everything.